Now, I know what you guys are thinking. What happened to your just standard Elijah? Well, you're just gonna throw that out the bill. Just throw that out. Today we're talking about a certain bill that I'm a little confused that people are freaking out about, and I don't understand the ruckus. And also, I feel like someone needs to explain this to me, like why this is bad or why what's happening. So there's this thing. I don't know if y'all know about it, and you guys are gonna have to pardon all this. It's the fastest I've ever set up my recording spot. So there's this thing, right, that the government has passed or is attempting to pass currently is the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility eligibility eligi Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act. Oh, that was easier than okay. Or the SAVE Act. I could have just said that. That would have been easier. It is often referred to as the Save America Act, and some of you may have heard of this. And basically, it's just this high-profile federal bill aimed at changing voters, uh, or the registration requirements across the U.S. Now, why is this? Well, if we go back to the beautiful 2020 election, when there were a lot of recordings of mail-in ballots being thrown away or hidden. There was a lot of electronic voter fraud. All that has made everyone worry. We don't want that again. So part of the goal is to take that out. That's not the only goal. And this is the part that confuses me. They want documentary proof of citizenship. So the act would require individuals to provide physical proof of U.S. citizenship to register to vote in federal elections. This includes like a U.S. passport, a certified birth certificate, or a naturalization certificate. And every country in the world that hears this thinks, wow, that makes a lot of sense. But since we're America, we have to be complicated, and this can't make sense to us, and this has to infuriate us. Why? Because there's a certain political party that has allowed lots of people that don't belong in America into America. And what they have done is tried to bring in the people that will vote for them and that they can garner votes from. And those people are going to support them in all the elections. And that's their goal. I mean, they've made that pretty clear. Look at Maine if you doubt me, or Minnesota, or really any liberal state. The problem here is that we are looking at a group of people that wants non-U.S. citizens to be voting. And when Trump said, I want to do the Save America Act because I want only citizens voting, the left got really mad. They're like, no, not those people that don't belong here that we brought in to make us president. No, they didn't want to lose their power that they had, which is understandable. And once you've got some power under your fingers, you don't want to let it go. So they clearly do not want that to be taken from them. And they enjoyed their fraudulent way of making it to the top. And Trump is wanting to take it away. And that annoys them. Because, corruption. And that's fun. And that's great. And everyone loves that. And go them. I mean, their work ethic is incredible. We look at people like Chuck Schumer or Hakeem Jeffries, or Zoran Mamdani, really anyone. We look at podcasts. I mean, Jennifer Welch. I mean, she's really the pinnacle of society. I think ultimately our goal as America was to build someone like Jennifer Welch and make her famous, and we want people listening to someone like that. Psych! Because she really has an IQ of 20. That's nice, but anyways. Photo ID requirement. It's mandated you have a photo ID at the time of voting, specifically requiring that the ID documents indicate the individual is a U.S. citizen. Again, show me one thing that's wrong with this. I will never understand why this has to be such a big issue. Like, so we want American citizens. So we don't want Juan Pablo from Mexico who smuggled drugs into regularly voting because he'll probably vote for people that'll let him stay, right? He'll probably vote for people that'll let him have a future in America illegally. And so that's the whole kit and caboodle there, right there. And again, you can take this how you will, because what we end up doing is just simply accepting. So we listen to the people, right, that are dissing this, especially if we're on their side. We want to hear what we will agree with, and we do that. And then when they say, "Oh, Donald Trump he's really going back on these, the civil rights movements we made, all this progress we made, the 21 million or so people are just not going to be able to vote anymore." And my answer to that is, well, people should take responsibility. People should be, they should have their updated documents. People should have uh, proof of citizenship. People, like, well, how's that? Why is that too much to ask? Why is it too much to ask for people to prove that they're American if they live in America? Like, I just don't. I won't. I'll never understand. States would be directed to remove non-citizens from their existing voter rolls using federal databases. I, that's fine. That's great. And restrictions on mail-in voting. So some versions of the bill include provisions to limit mail-in ballots to specific groups. It's like military, disabled, or those traveling, which would make sense. We should let those people vote regardless. But I like the idea of limiting mail-in ballots, because mail-in ballots were the most significantly affected, I would say, in the 2020 election, or most elections. Those are the easiest to tamper with because you can just hide them. They don't have to exist. And you have them in your hands. So it's a bit more potent. I mean, people so a few people backing this, right, are people like, there's Representative Chip Roy or Senator Mike Lee. They're arguing that it's essential to ensure only citizens vote, which I'm on board with. There's a law that exists that says non-citizen voting is a federal crime. This has been like 1996 or so. This is a law that states non-citizens voting have committed a federal crime. So that's against the state. And that's all good, but that hasn't been enforced. I mean, we've seen this. That hasn't been enforced. That's just, opponents of the bill are arguing, there's like 21 million Americans that don't have their passports renewed or don't have easy access to their birth certificate. Why? Like, what are y'all doing what crime are y'all committing that makes it hard for you to have a passport or birth certificate? Like, our ship is sinking. Y'all, why can I not talk? Someone explain that to me. And I mean, this is good because what it does is it helps us be able to see that it is really the choice of America, right? America's making the choice of who's leading, the country, their states. That's a really big deal. I mean, you want people voting for their country. The House passed the latest version of the Save America Act in February of 2026. It's currently stalled. There are like 53 Republicans holding seats in the Senate. And I mean, I would say they generally support this. They generally support the bill, but they need 60 or so votes for the bill to overcome a Democratic filibuster, basically. Again, this is something that it's such a big, and here, okay, so now I'm gonna rant, and you're all gonna have to just listen because, well, that's what I'm forcing you to do. I hate the fact that we have to argue over this kind of stuff. I really hate it. And I'm gonna tell you what, because I'm not the most knowledgeable person. I don't have the most experience. I'm pretty young. I'm a spry young lad. I still run around. I still play my games outside. And oh my goodness, do we even know what that is anymore? We are so glued to our phones, y'all. We're doomed. We're doomed. Doomed to be a society. Why am I getting off track? Okay, anyways, hold up. So I still do all that stuff, right? I'm a young, spry young lad, and I enjoy that. I think it's great to still have some childness at heart, to be able to do that, right? And I don't have all the knowledge in the world, and I don't have all the answers, and I'm fine with that. Imagine if I did, how terrible that would be. I mean, I'd probably get money, but it's anyways, I would just say that we need to be cautious with what we're doing as a country, because when we start arguing over whether or not we should be letting illegal immigrants voting in our system, you start you start impeding America from making choices for America, and that's a big issue. People like Chuck Schumer, for example. So he argued that the act is a naked attempt to rig our elections by effectively killing online and mail-in registration. How? I don't. So those are like the most. I could say this. Those are like the most. Those are like the most errant methods, right, for voting. This is the easiest to tamper with, and apparently now it's bad that we're taking that away, dude. Like, no, bro, wake up, Chucky boy. Like, let's be honest here. I mean, I I am not gonna say that every time there's mail-in ballot or there's um electronic voting that it's bad. Uh or that it's being rigged with or tampered with, but I will say it's super high possibility. I mean, we have the recordings on cameras of people taking mail-in ballots from the 2020 election, just totally hiding it, right? I mean, so I would argue that it makes sense in the least. And I'm still trying to figure out why this is such a big issue. And after all my digging, I still don't understand because really all the arguments that I've heard against it are literally, well, they're restricting people from voting. But they're restricting people who shouldn't be voting in the first place. Oh, anyways, I don't understand. I just don't understand. And I made this video right because, as I told y'all, I was going on break, right? Which I am technically still on my hiatus. How do you say that? I don't know. And so yeah, but I was like, this is too much of an opportunity, just skip out on. This is wild. If y'all stop to think about it, it is wild how people can be against this. And I think I've said it a million times. If I said it once, I've said it a million times. I don't love everything Trump does. 'Cause I'm not a Trump fanboy. He's done good stuff, but I think he has his faults. But this is one thing I don't see a fault with. I don't see an issue with this, and any logical, sane person probably doesn't see a fault with it either. But you have to be really demented or be like wanting people who don't belong here to vote for you to find issue with this. I think most of the time that is what it is, and listen, we could be the bad guy all we want, right? We could be the bad guy. I'm the bad guy. I'm the bad guy often. And maybe that's a little bit on me, but mm, mm, I don't think that this is being a bad guy. Restricting people who shouldn't be voting is not being a bad guy. It's not doing the wrong thing. It's just logical. I wish people would just think about it more before they speak out on it. Because they say some pretty like not smart stuff. And listen, I took a break from like all the listening to podcasts and listening to the news and all. Because I was like, I really should stay informed since I'm doing a podcast and all this. I was like, maybe I should just make my podcast more of like this logical thing, right? And like instead of giving you updates on all the news, just pick out certain stuff and just like, this is terrible, and let y'all know about it. And I was like, well, maybe if I do that little change up, maybe I need like a precursor, like preceding video. And this is kind of what that is. Like, and it's fine. People can say what they want. It's a free country. It's a free speech country, and you can say what you want, but doesn't mean you're gonna sound any smarter than you are. It doesn't mean you're not gonna say something dumb. Which, again, you're right to say that. You're right, but boy, can you sound dumb. So don't fall into the trap of like wanting to critique everything. Again, we're not all knowing, so really we're just we're just trying to make sense of everything. And this didn't make a lot of sense to me. And I saw this as a really good chance to call out all the weirdos that are having issues with this. And yeah, that's what I have to say. You know what though? Get ready. America, we're seeing a lot of stuff happening in America. It's about to be crazy. There's insane alien UFO stuff going out. I mean, I might be a UFO. You don't know that. And you can't prove me wrong. You probably couldn't. So there's that. And also, I mean, just all the time. I mean, shots fired. Am I right? And then, we had assassination attempt on Trump, which there's tons of conspiracy theories out there. There's a K9 guy who just watched the would-be assassin who run through. I mean, weird stuff. America's a weird country, dude. America's weird, bro. Like, America's not just weird. America's like strange, like high strangeness. Because I think we're such a melting pot. We get everything. We get everything. All the good, all the bad. Lots of bad. But America in itself is a great place. Love America. Love the American spirit, love the country, love the ideals, but the people can just be the worst sometimes. So all this to say, think before you speak, think before you act, and don't talk about something just to talk about it. I see like this is something that's so common, like with the Save America Act. People just talk out about it. Uh, After they hear from a politician, the whole time that politician is only speaking out against it because they want the people that aren't allowed to vote to vote. Like that's their whole goal. And then you get fired up about it because of the lies you heard from them. So just be careful. You know who your sources are, who you're talking with, and that's all I have for y'all today. Thank y'all for listening. I'll talk to y'all in the next one. God bless.